What's up YouTube, my name is Byrdman and welcome to another Destiny 2 Titan build. Today I'm going to be covering an awesome solar hammer build. This is kind of a build that's been going around for a while, but I just kind of wanted to rehash it a little bit, show it off. I feel like people kind of forgotten about it. I feel like when it comes to Destiny, a lot of people just kind of rotate through builds and people need to kind of bring it back to this one because it is so much damage. But before we get into the video, let you know I'm over on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Byrdman778. Following all those things, we're going to be doing a lot of YouTube here coming up soon, so make sure you're sign up to be a member, something like that. I don't really care. Do whatever you want. Regardless, let's get into the video. Now, I mentioned that this is a Titan solar hammer build. We already have one of those. We have a video up with my Severance enclosure build. Definitely make sure you're checking that out. But for this one, we're going to be going the Code of the Devastator and obviously going into that throwing hammer. Throw a hammer from a distance. After throwing it, pick up the hammer, fully recharges your melee ability. This is super great because when it combos with this Roaring Flames right here, kills with your solar abilities, increase those abilities damage, stacks up to 3 times. We're constantly just stacking more and more melee damage. Now, as we explore more of this build, we're going to see some cool different additions, ways we're able to get our melee damage up. But know that this Burning Maul super is definitely something that can help. If you lose your throwing hammer or something like that, you're not able to keep up your Roaring Flames, know you can always back up on this Burning Maul, so you're able to keep that up as much as you humanly can for whenever your melee comes back. Weapons wise, we are obviously, I always like this one small step. It's like literally one of my favorite weapons in the entire game. You can find this over on the moon by either doing the altar quests or just doing the nightmare hunts if available. Whenever you do the nightmare hunts, you have the chance of getting the piece for that specific quest right then and there. But just make sure you run around using shotguns. Mine's got auto loading holster. It's amazing. I'm able to still like pump out an entire mag of this, throw it into my back, use my other weapon real quick, get it back out, use it more. But this 1-2 punch is the big creme de la creme of it. Hitting an enemy with every pellet of the shot increases melee damage for a short duration. This is going to stack with what our Roaring Flames already is, making sure that we're just getting even more melee damage. Now, with a certain exotic that we're going to use for our armor, we're just going to have that melee damage to the point that we're hitting nearly million plus on some hits. I'm also running a Death Adder. I really like this SMG. It just feels nice. It's smooth. It works really well. Mine's got Dragonfly on it. Very nice all around if you just want good damage. Over here on my boots, I'm running Font of Might. So whenever I pick up those melee wells, I'm getting some extra damage onto a solar what's going to be weapon. So the Death Adder is going to get a little more damage. Just nice all around. And we're also running the Ascendancy on this as well, so that we just get some extra explosive solar damage. Now, when it comes to armor pieces, we're obviously just going to use a nice little helmet here, but I specifically like to use the Power Preservation. Your super final blows create extra orbs for your allies. The hands-on game bonus super energy on melee kills. Now, this is going to make sure that we're going to get our super almost instantly just throughout running around with this build, because we're constantly chucking our hammer around, picking it up, hitting another enemy. Constant kills with this is going to make sure our super is getting up faster and faster. Let's say that, again, that off chance you throw your hammer too far, you're not able to get it, explodes. You're able to keep up your Roaring Flames, keep up that extra damage by making sure that you just have that super in your back pocket almost instantly. But Elemental Ordinance is another thing we're going to run on this, so that whenever we use our grenades and get a kill, we're able to get some solar wells, making sure that we essentially can get our melee back if we were to lose it. Now, the exotic on this build is going to be the Worm God Karis. The Burning Fist mod on it. Melee kills increase melee damage for a period of time. Additional kills will extend duration and increase effects. Now, this is the third part of this increased melee upon melee upon melee. You're going to see on here, I actually have a pretty fast kill on Riven by myself with my friend Psychotic Wolf. Make sure you're checking out his channel. But we were essentially able to just gnaw him down to almost nothing, move through that entire part of the raid, which typically would take an entire team to do, but we were able to essentially do it by ourselves because of all this comboed melee damage. This is so nice. I love it. Just high melee damage. It's always going to be great. So we really like the Worm Gods. On my chest piece, I run Whelp Ordinance, just making sure that I'm getting a little bit more. Whenever I get a Solar Elemental Wells, I'm getting more grenade energy, getting that grenade back, making sure, again, more wells the better, but also just helps the synergy of the build. You don't only have to throw your hammer around all the time. You can also throw that grenade, get a lot of extra damage on that as well. Like I mentioned before, we're also going to be running Font of Might, picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type, grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. This is obviously great for our Death Adder. It is a solar weapon. You can use any type of weapon for this. I would also say like a Trustee would be something good. I also have this amazing Jurassic Green with Subsistence and Dragonfly. Perfect weapon for this all around. Definitely recommend just anything that's solar. And finally, Bountiful Wells, just making sure that we're getting even more elemental wells. It's just going to help out the entire synergy of the build, making sure we're getting our grenade and our hammer back as fast as humanly possible. I always like to give a suggestion of another exotic armor piece that you could use for certain synergies of builds, and I would say the next one would be the Synthoceps. Increased melee, lunge range, increased melee, and super damage when you're surrounded. Obviously, this is going to be a build where you're going to be in the thick of it the entire time, constantly throwing your hammer around. So something like this where we are getting a little bit more damage when we have enemies around us, it's definitely going to help. You're not going to get the same amount of damage as you would get from the Worm Gods, but this is also just a great option if you just don't have those. Thank you so much for stopping on by this build. I hope you really enjoyed. We should be having a void build out here later in the week using the code of the commander tree. But other than that, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to be focusing a lot on YouTube soon. There was some news that came out from YouTube this past week. Gifted memberships, just better mod control, stuff like that throughout the entire site. So there might be a chance you're going to be catching me streaming on YouTube here soon. So make sure that you're following, subscribing to the channel, whatever that is. Sign up to be a member as well. I don't have any members currently, so it'd be really awesome for you to be the first member for us. But regardless, guys, thank you so much. Make sure you give a thumbs up on the video. Follow me over on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Byrdman778. Have a great night, day, whatever it may be.